Thank you for joining me today. My name is Ken Raggio, and today's Bible study is in the book of Proverbs, chapters 17 to 23. Those who love to see others suffer, they're not good people. They will be punished. The Bible said, "A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." The godly virtue is to overlook others' faults as much as possible. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. Do you know that tattletales and gossips are troublemakers? He that hath a froward heart findeth no good, and he that hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief. God will judge us for our verbal sins. We should be kind to one another. Proverbs 17:5, "Whosoever mocketh the poor reproaches his maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished." Paul admonished the Thessalonians to study to be quiet. Solomon said, "Better is a dry morsel and quietness therewith than a house full of sacrifices with strife." He that has knowledge spares his words. Even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. You've heard it said, if you can't say something good, don't say anything. A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar gives ear to a naughty tongue. But Proverbs 17:7 says, "Excellent speech becometh not a fool, much less do lying lips a prince." We have to remember that it's better, oftentimes, just to be quiet. The 18th chapter of Proverbs renounces fools. "A fool hath no delight in understanding. Wicked men come with contempt and disgrace and reproach." It's not good to accept a wicked person and overthrow a righteous man's judgment. A fool speaks contentious words and calls for violence. His words eventually destroy him. Talebearers wound others. Slothful men are great wasters, and he that prejudices people gets folly and shame to himself. But a man with desire separates himself and seeks and interacts with all wisdom. Proverbs 18:15, "The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge." Proverbs also contains hundreds of lessons on human relationships. The wise man says that a man's spirit will ordinarily sustain him, but if his spirit is wounded by another, how can he bear his infirmity? A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. He said, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Contentions are like the bars of a castle." We should never offend others as much as life within us, but strive to be a friend and a brother. Proverbs 18:24, "A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother." This lesson teaches that we should treat other people kindly and show ourselves friendly. Compare your wisdom to God's wisdom. It is a shocking comparison. He is infinite. He has seen everything and knows everything. He has witnessed every act and thought of every man who ever lived. He is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. On the other side, we are finite, limited, inexperienced, ignorant, and unlearned. So, why do we always seem to trust ourselves, but we can't trust God? There is no logic in that conclusion. "It is not in a man that walketh to direct his steps," Jeremiah said 10:23. And Proverbs 19:21 says, "There are many devices in a man's heart, nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand." All of man's goings are of the Lord, and you will never beat God at his game. You are not your own. God says in Ezekiel 18:4, "All souls are mine." Your and my destiny is in God's hands. There's one destiny for righteous men. There's another destiny for wicked men. So rather than spend your life trying to do your own thing, why not spend your life trying to do God's will? Say not, "I will recompense evil," but wait on the Lord, and he shall save thee. Proverbs 20:24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? We have a lesson that teaches us that our prayers are often ignored because we ignored others' cries. God cares for the poor, and he requires us to care for the poor. He said, he that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches shall surely come to want. Rob not the poor, because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For the Lord will plead their cause, and spoil the souls of those that spoil them. Proverbs 22:16, 22-3. If you want God to hear your cries, you must not ignore the cries of those in need. Proverbs 21:13. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, and shall not be heard. Don't despise the poor. What error is more inexcusable than the one we saw coming? It's one thing to make a mistake of ignorance, but when God has given explicit warnings concerning virtually every hazard a man can face, what is our excuse? 1/3 of the Bible is prophetic in nature. If you ignore the warnings about things to come, you are inviting disaster. That's why I am so heavily invested in understanding Bible prophecy. I want to be prepared. Proverbs 22:3 says, a prudent man foresees the evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Can you foresee the evil? If not, why not? The Bible foresees it. Read his word and know. A landmark establishes a boundary or a property line. It's often a legal instrument proving ownership. But more than that, landmarks perpetuate legacies and posterities. Things that have been sacred for ages have far more wisdom in them than you can imagine. And that's especially true with proven truths and precepts based on the Bible. They are landmarks. This perverse generation would recklessly destroy all these priceless holy things, but we should never remove those ancient boundaries that separate the church from the world. You will sorely regret the loss when you remove those ancient landmarks. Proverbs 22:28, remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. And in 23:10 it says, again, remove not the old landmark. That's a big lesson that everyone needs to learn. And the final lesson today is about drunkards and gluttons. He said, be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty. Who has woe, who has sorrow, who has contentions, who has babblings, who has wounds without cause, who has redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. At the last, he said, it biteth like a serpent and stings like an adder. We must refuse all mind-altering substances. That's the essence of this lesson. Righteous men must be sober. We must be moderate and temperate. Proverbs 23:2-3, put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. That's food or drink. Those are our lessons today. Thank you for joining me. God bless you and save your eternal soul in Jesus' name. Thank you for watching. Please like and share and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, Gab, CloudHub, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, Telegram, Truth Social, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Visit my website at KenRaggio.com for thousands of pages of Bible articles on every subject. Subscribe to receive my daily Bible studies by email. Go to Amazon, search for books by Ken Raggio. You'll see my daily Bible companion, 5,000 lessons almost from every chapter of the Bible, 2-volume set, Old and New Testaments. Get the Daniel prophecies, God's plan for the last days, 726 pages with footnotes, 175 photos, one of the most powerful prophecy teachings anywhere. Get the greatest doctrines of the Bible. Get praying on purpose, praying for results, how men prevail with God. Get Long Winding Road, my very personal story, and Treasures of Darkness, how to see the glory of God in your darkest trials. Click the link below if you want all 9 books for only $125 here in the United States only. And please donate through the link below and then share these videos with your friends. And I'll see you next time. Good night.